Everyone, please all stand and sing with me. There's a song in my soul, it sings I am whole. Everywhere I go, it sings I am whole. There's a song in my soul, it sings I am whole. Everywhere I go, it sings I am whole. I am whole, 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 I am whole. There's a song in my soul, it sings I am healed. I take a breath and know that I am healed. There's a song in my soul, it sings I am healed. I take a breath and know that I am healed. I am healed, I am healed. I am healed, I am healed. Your turn.
I am healed, I am healed. I am healed, I am healed. There's a song in my heart, it sings I am loved. It whispers in my ear that I am loved. There's a song in my heart, it sings I am loved. It whispers in my ear that I am loved. I am loved, I am loved. I am loved, I am loved.
All together.
I am loved, I am loved. I am loved, I am loved. So please be seated. Thank you, Jen, for that lively music. We need a little life, don't we, today? On this beautiful rainy day, and as I was warming up myself, I said, there's sunshine in my soul today. We may not be seeing it outside, but we can put it in our inner self. There's sunshine in my soul, and we're happy and joyous to be here together. And welcome to you online. I kind of envy you in your nice warm pajamas today. Aren't we lucky that we have so many opportunities and ways that we can experience our spiritual practices these days? And so we welcome you online, and we invite you to join us in spirit as we gather here in this congregation this morning at Unity of Columbia, our spiritual community and our spiritual home. So let's stand and greet each other this morning.
but don't fret if you stray, because the most important thing is to come along the way. How you love, how you live, how you laugh, how you give. Yes, the most important thing is to become along the way. People pushing, shopping, rushing, stressing faster every day, losing their composure at the tiniest delay. Always multitasking, still thinking they're behind. When I see that this is me, I bring this song to mind. Keep your eyes on the prize, but don't fret if you stray, because the most important thing is to become along the way. It's easy to believe we're in a race to get things done, a race to get ahead to prove we are number one. Does it have to be a good path to win the one in front of you? What if we agree, let's slow it down a notch or two? Keep your eyes on the prize, but don't fret if you stray, because the most important thing is to become along the way. If you become along the way, if you become along the way.
All right, we're all jazzed up now. My name's Mary Kinney, and welcome to Unity of Columbia. I have the pleasure to be serving as your facilitator today. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to you online, and welcome you here. I'll remind you to please turn your cell phones off so we can have this time together. And you people online, come on to church. We're having the Gumbo Fest later on, so get dressed and come on down, or come in your pajamas. We don't care. If you're brand new today, we'd like to especially welcome you. The ushers have a welcome packet for you out in the hallway. There's a place to sign up for the e-newsletter where you can find out what's happening around here. Always something fun, or we may just make it fun. Now, let us say together our prosperity affirmation. Please affirm these words with me. Centered in spirit, we trust in the potential of Unity of Columbia to express abundance in perfect divine order. Our community makes decisions for the highest good. We are open to the flow of new opportunities and claim prosperity now. Now, please join me in affirming our vision, mission, and core values. Our vision is: we celebrate a spiritually awakened world. And our mission is: we inspire the awakening and practice of divine love in every heart. In addition, we celebrate our core values, knowing that we have come here to be spirit-centered and to express the values of love, peace, and connection. For our announcements today, we got some stuff coming up, fun stuff. We're going to be playing Bunko. Bunko game night is Friday, June 12th from 6 to 8, and everyone is welcome. You can sign up in the foyer, and it's just a good time. You don't have to know how to play. You have to have no skills. No skills is better. Just show up and play. It's fun. The Tall Grass Collective is hosting a free brake light and resource clinic on Saturday, June 13th from 10 to 3 in our Unity parking lot. So they needed a place to do it, and we are it. So if you're interested in volunteering to represent Unity or answer questions or engage with the community members, please contact our Unity office. So that's nice that we can have an outreach and help that Tallgrass Collective. Now, there will be a new member class coming up with Reverend Tom Bassford on Saturday, June 27th. And it's a one-day class from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So please consider becoming a member of Unity of Columbia. It's a meaningful way to enrich your personal spiritual journey and join in and be a member. So that is on Saturday, June 27th. More information out in the foyer. Now today you probably have smelled the wonderful aromas of coming from the kitchen. Today we are having, it's Gumbo Day. The 4th annual Authentic Louisiana Cajun Gumbo Feast is today after the service at 11:15. The men have been working hard preparing, and Jim Serra, who is our master Cajun chef back there, thank you very much for yeah. Anyway, it's all available in the other room, and there will be a love offering, so please join us. It'll be good. And now it's time for our daily word, and Pat Koenigsfeld will come.
Our daily word for today, May 31st, 2026, is world peace. My loving thoughts, words, and actions contribute to world peace. Divine love is my very essence. I draw from this inner source to lay a foundation of love in my heart, and on this foundation, I build a house of peace, compassion, and acceptance. I invite others into this house through my kind words and actions. I live in an awareness that all people are divine. All deserve respect and a channel to express their true selves. I view the people of the world as my neighbors. We may look, talk, or believe differently, but it is this diversity that fills the world with beauty. I radiate divine love to all and gratefully receive the love that returns to me. This exchange is the basis of lasting peace. Together, one word, one smile, one act of compassion at a time, we build a peaceful world. Our reading is from Romans 12:18. If it is possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. And please repeat the affirmation with me. My loving thoughts, words, and actions contribute to world peace.
Now I'd like to invite the chaplains to come forward, please. The prayer box is a symbol of blessing today. In prayer, we expand our awareness, knowing that we are expressions of God. We open our minds to receive an abundance of all that is necessary to fulfill our soul's purpose. We now hold others in prayer. And if you have filled out a prayer slip, you may come up and post it in the prayer box, or know that it is always here 24/7 for your prayer requests. So please speak your loved one's name aloud so that we can collectively hold space. Mary Lou and Ron. For all the names on our hearts, know that what you have been asked for has been heard and answered. Our Unity Prayer Chaplains will be available to pray with you this morning after today's service. Thank you. Now let's prepare for our time of music, and meditation.
Spirit wakening me, fill this vessel with your light. Let me be your hands, your heart, your eyes. Spirit, fill me with your light. Spirit wakening me, fill this vessel with your grace. Let me be your feet, your smile, your face. Spirit, fill me with your grace. Spirit, waken in me. Fill my heart with thankfulness. Let me sing with joy, for I am blessed. Fill my heart with thankfulness. Fill my heart with thankfulness. Fill my heart with thankfulness.
So take a deep breath. Release all the cares of the day, getting here today. We're thankful for the blessed rain that falls and the sound, the soothing sound of the raindrops. This is a soft, gentle rain this morning. As our body relaxes, we open our soul. We activate that inner guide, that inner presence, that God self. We're open and receptive to new thoughts, new ways, new ideas. This morning we contemplate oneness. Oneness in consciousness, oneness in life, oneness in spirit. For we are all truly on a continuum, but all one in consciousness and spirit. So as you contemplate today, think about ways that you express oneness in this world as we take a few moments in the silence. In the silence. slowly become aware of that gentle sound of the raindrops, reminding us that we are all part of this continuum. This life on earth is our way of expressing our divinity, that God's self within. So as we come to a close of our meditation, we come back knowing that we are present, we're open and receptive, and as the Daily Word talked about peace, nothing can disturb that calm peace of my soul. And so it is. Well, good morning again. My name is Carol Schultz, and I know many of you, but there are some newcomers here. I sometimes forget to introduce myself. I'm a licensed Unity teacher, been here at Unity for 40 or more years, and I stand before you today as one of the wise elders. I kind of resisted that role for many years, however. I am one of the wise elders. I've got to claim that. I'm one of the founders of Unity of Columbia, part of the first study group that began meeting in 1980. There are 4 of us still around and active in Unity. That's Lemur Chernolavec, my husband, myself, Marcy DeVere. I didn't look around to see if Marcy's here today, and Nancy Lyson-Kirtley. Both of them are not here, but you know them, I know. And then in 1983, we incorporated as a official New Thought church with our mother organization, the Unity Worldwide Ministries, in 1983. And we have quite a few of our charter members, well, not quite a few, but the 4 of us, plus Randy and Betty Fletcher, were part of our charter membership, as you can read in the Founders Wing in the plaque. Now, Beth Brown was also one of our charter members. She's still active with some of the online activities we do. And so we'll be 45 years old in 2028, and we hope we have a big celebration for our 45th anniversary. It doesn't seem possible, does it? Many of you weren't even born when we were starting this first Unity of Columbia. And today I want to reflect on how Unity's first principle invites us to hold apparent contradictions and paradoxes and polarities, how to come together as one. So I'll talk about some of the personal experiences I've had with oneness and bringing it together. And I'll also talk a little bit about some of the Unity metaphysics that I love so much, and why I've stuck with Unity all these 45 years, and probably why some of you have stuck around so long too. So during this time of transition without a minister, we have a great opportunity to redefine and define the view we have of ourselves as a spiritual community, as a congregation. How are we going to show up in this world, in our community at large, and here at our own Unity of Columbia? As we all know, it all begins with me, it all begins with you, it all begins with our own inner journey in consciousness. Nobody else can do this for us. And if you talk to anybody, you'll find out what a diverse group we are. It was mentioned, the diversity in the world. Just think of how many ideas and opinions. If we ask one question, we'd have, 60 different answers to that same question. And many ministers in Unity and teachers talk about the herding cats principle. It's hard to get a group of independent thinking, deep thinkers on spiritual path to kind of come together into one group and do things together. So when I thought about this, I thought about some of the lessons in metaphysics that I've learned, and that is about the 4 divine paradoxes. Those of you who took the metaphysics class last year probably remember that. And so I realized as I was writing this talk a while back that I've mentioned a lot of Unity authors. And I didn't prepare a bibliography for today, but I promise I'll do a newsletter article with all the books I've recommended that I think are just absolute necessities for Unity study groups and for Unity people to know. So I thought of these 4 divine paradoxes, and of course you can find that really nicely explained in Paul Hasselbeck's Heart-Centered Metaphysics. So those 4 aspects, or the 4 paradoxes, are all, the first 3 relate to the aspects of God. What is God? Spirit, source, divine mind, whatever you call. Paul Hasselbeck advises us to not use the word God so much because that holds so much baggage for some people. Coming to the understanding and realization and at peace with all of your past religious experiences is one of our great tasks that we're about as we raise our own consciousness. So whatever you call the divine mind, he says, the seeming paradoxes of divine mind are principal and personal, transcendent and immanent, father, mother, and law and grace. And each one of those could take a whole talk or a whole series of classes, so I'm only going to go into a few. Our first principle, of course, is it's written out for us on a new sheet that's out in the foyer there. God is absolute good, everywhere present. And I kind of looked back at the old way that we used to say it. There's only one presence and one power in the universe, God the good, because that relates more to my feeling of oneness and what that first principle really means, that we are all one. So he says that those 4 are in truth not indicative of a duality of divine mind, but are reflective of the perfection and wholeness of oneness. And so I look at this as a continuum between all of these paradoxes. You know, how can God be a very personal God that I can feel the presence of God, yet be principle, the law of mind action, the laws that we know as Unity laws? How can God be transcendent and immanent? That is, right here with me at present, but yet present all over the world. How can God be both father and mother? How can divine mind be both law and grace? They seem like paradoxes, but they're all on a continuum. And they may seem to be contradictions in our limited viewpoint, but if we dig a little deeper, we can see that they are just different points on the spectrum. Some of these paradoxes and ways of thinking about our divine mind may cause what are called polarities in congregations. And another book I really recommend is called Managing Polarities in Congregations by Oswald and Johnson. It talks about that we have to get this way of thinking both and. Yes, everybody's right. It's just on a spectrum from one end to the other. We can really see those polarities today as we're very divided. I think part of our task as human beings agreeing to be on the planet at this time is to heal some of those polarities and help everybody see that we really are one mind. I recently read a book by Dan Brown called, now I didn't write that down, and so The Secret of Secrets. Was that what it's called? Yeah. Read that book. It will give you a wonderful perspective on the oneness and divine consciousness that we all are. So some of these polarities may be played out in some of our practices. And one of the books that I really recommend that I base a lot of this talk on is called Unity in World Religions by Paul John Roach. He really is, if you love the history of New Thought, the history of Christian thought, the history of worship or feelings of closeness to a higher power throughout the ages, this is really the book for you. So one of the things I thought about was meditation, for instance. Our 4th principle, of course, says prayer and meditation are the highest forms of creative thinking. Well, when you think of meditation, what do you think about? For some, it's sitting in silence, complete silence. Charles Fillmore himself said he went to headquarters. He sat in silence every night. For some, it's frenetic whirling like the whirling dervishes. For some, it's a guided process through a beautiful meadow where you come and encounter your essential self, your higher self. For others, that's a very big distraction. So one of the great teachers over the years in Unity on meditation was Paulette Pipe. She really wrote several things about prayer and meditation. And even she had some difficulty with this because she went on a silent retreat, she reported to us one day. And as she was sitting there kind of getting used to things, she thought, oh, I can't meditate here. I don't have my candle. I don't have my soft music. And she kind of went through this process of, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Until she finally took a deep breath and realized, I can meditate anywhere. I don't need all those props. And so that's what we kind of have to get to. We can meditate anywhere in our own way. And what we need to ask ourselves when we're in a meditation that doesn't seem quite fitting for you, like for myself anyway, I like a movement type meditation. I'm not quite a sitter. Others believe in sitting quiet and still in the stillness. But there are many ways to revitalize your soul through meditation. And if there's something that doesn't feel right for you, what I want us all to do during this transition time is to be very aware of our own inner thoughts, our own inner dialogue. If you're sitting there thinking, well, this doesn't sound or feel quite right, meditate about it. Find out, what is bothering me? What is this? I really have seen many people come and go because they have a feeling that, I don't know what this is, but they don't stop to challenge themselves and dig deeper and find out, what is it that is coming up for me that I can heal at this moment? So if you need more solitude in your meditation, you can find places for that. If you need more imagery, or if you find that this service is 2-minute meditation, isn't enough, then do like many have over the years. Start a meditation group. Fix up a Sunday morning process that you can go through. And if you invite others, you'll probably find several others that will come and join you in that process. So we're always looking for ways to expand our feeling of oneness and that feeling of consciousness, that we have many ways to get to the same idea. So instead of, saying, well, ain't it awful that we don't do the 5-minute meditation like we used to do, you can start a meditation group that does what you need to do and experience what you can in this meditation. Whatever comes up for you, you can work on that. So over the years, another one of these things is the paradox of the mother-father God. That was one of the things that I really clombed onto when I first heard a Unity talk, that they're talking about the feminine aspects of God, the mother God. And I really like that concept and that idea. We've been used to kind of considering gender on a spectrum, because that's kind of an issue these days. And so it's easier for me to think of God or the higher power, the divine mind, on the spectrum of those divine feminine and those divine masculine possible properties and principles and ways of thinking. So last week, for instance, I still have a lot to heal around this, because I still have a lot to heal around authoritarian male energy. And for last week, for instance, when Pat read the book from Myrtle Fillmore's Mornings with Myrtle, she said, "Those who believe in God know that everything is possible with Him." Well, I still react to something like that, so I know I have something to heal. Instead of getting angry about it, okay, why is this still coming up for me? What's going on? How can I heal my past? Coming to terms with all of those, beating over the heads with the Bible and all that stuff, are there for me to heal. So years ago, I started translating for myself, and I say, so I can assess my spiritual consciousness each time I notice this masculine pronoun. And for myself, I translate that into everything is possible with the infinite source that is within me and you. So I tend to go to infinite source or source, where Hasselbeck would say, use divine mind. So I can assess my reaction to this and meditate on this. And I learned over the years, many choirs I've sung in, is that most conductors and musicians say, you don't change the classical language of the piece you're singing. Every Christmas, I kind of deal with this issue for myself. We don't change the classical words. We sing it and we interpret whatever we're singing for ourselves. And I got a good lesson in that one year when in Choral Union, the university community group I sing with, when we had an obvious observant Jew in our choir, and we were singing one of the great masses that year. And so I got acquainted with him and I said, well, how do you reconcile singing about all of the resurrection and Jesus and all this when you obviously don't believe in that? And he said to me, well, we're singing in a foreign language, and so I just interpret it any way I want to interpret that. And over the years, we've had various people try to make our language, when we're reading from Fillmore or Emily Cady or one of our great authors, to make it gender neutral. And I tend to try and do that, but sometimes it's very awkward. And so sometimes you have to just go with what's written there in the classical sense. So I always kind of was concerned about people coming into Unity service for a first time and hearing, us refer to God as Him, when we really know that God is not an entity, not a person out there, that God is principle, God is consciousness and divine mind. And so how can we say that we're saying God, we're not talking to God and assign a gender to God? Well, I have to just translate that for myself, that they're talking about the divine principle, the divine feminine, the divine masculine. And so that way I can say, okay, now where do I fit on that spectrum? How do I see God? Because one thing Unity is not is a set dogma. You have to each week, each day, discover for yourself, what is my interpretation of God? How am I going to live that today? Well, another polarity that kind of comes up in what type of meditation are we going to have in the service, too, should we allow children in the service? This is something we've struggled with over the years. And yes, we want to nurture the young children. We want to nurture young families. They're our future. They're our legacy. And yet, over the years, many young mothers have said, well, that 4 minutes of quiet on Sunday morning is the only time I have to just sit and nurture myself completely. And to hear our baby crying breaks my concentration. And so that's something we've had to deal with. How am I going to deal with something like that? As you can probably tell, I'm kind of on the no children spectrum, but a giggling or crying child can distract me in some ways. So what have I done over the years? I've learned meditation techniques that incorporate every sound you hear into your meditation. Like this morning when the rain at the end, wasn't that wonderful to just hear that rain? When you hear a laughing or giggling child, oh, what the joy. Really trying to see on both ends of the spectrum that I can incorporate this. I really liked the process that Angela, our youth ed director, came up with Reverend Ann about not disrupting the service and the flow, but having the children come in at the end. It helped them both deal with the children, and it gives us an opportunity to interact with the children in their wonderful wisdom in a new way. And so I think that was a good idea, a good way to put things on the spectrum and say, yes, and yes, we can do both. We can have children come in the service, and we can allow the adults to have a quiet meditation time once a week. So those are some of the things we've come up with. And I wanted to just mention some of the things that I learned from Paul John's book about why Unity has really appealed to me over these years, why it's my chosen path. And I say my first path is Unity. He explains many of the world religions and alternate religions and Native American, everything on the spectrum of spirituality he mentions. And he has come up with the idea of the golden thread of truth, the golden thread of truth. And so that's what we see in all of these religions, that golden thread of truth. One of the things I really liked was the fact that I grew up in the United States. I'm culturally Christian, as we say, but spiritually eclectic. So I'm culturally Christian, and so I was very familiar with the Bible, and I really appreciate the metaphysical interpretations that allowed me to expand my knowledge of that. I'm really a mystic at heart, and we come from a long line of Christian mystics. And we've studied many of those over the years. They said Dead Sea Scroll scriptures, the Gospel of Mary, Hildegard of Bingen, Teresa of Avila. Those Christian mystics all wanted that experience of God within themselves. And so I really liked the history of New Thought and the history of Christian thought and that golden thread of mystical understanding that comes through all of those. Well, there's another book that was quite instrumental in my growth in spirit, and that was Matthew Fox's book called Original Blessing. Just the title alone set me on a path of thinking about original blessing. We are all born good, and that's what we say. Our essence is of God, and therefore we are inherently good. I came from one of the ideas that we are inherently sinful and need to be saved. So I really like the idea that, no, we're inherently good. And that comes, he talks about fullness and emptiness, and via positiva describes God through positive statements like God is love, God is good, God is everywhere present, all-knowing, all-powerful, and that's the way of fullness. And its affirmative language focuses on abundance, limitless possibilities, wholeness, and the good. And then another way of looking at it as via negativia, where God is known through qualities and descriptions that rather by what God is not through qualities and descriptions, but rather what God is not. God is beyond any attempt to define or categorize. God is neither present or absent, neither light nor darkness. And that's more of a Zen way or a Buddhist way of looking at that we're all empty. So obviously unity has chosen the idea of fullness, that God is good, we have positive statements. So I really like that via positiva that I learned about in Matthew Fox's book. So when we think in these ways of looking at things on a spectrum, a polarity, we can see it expands our minds into different ways of thinking, that there are many ways to interpret this. There are many ways of thinking about it. And so that's engaging our brain into new ways of thinking. One thing Hasselbeck talked a lot about was our embedded theology. And it's what we grew up with. It's so deeply in our subconscious that we don't even realize it's there sometimes. So I want you all to just kind of take a deep breath. Let us pray. So what is your first reaction? Is it to bow your head, like we were all taught, in a subservient bow to our Savior, who's going to rescue us? Or is it standing there looking out, yes, I am a presence here, and I am praying, affirming that I am allness, that I am wholeness, that I am divine mind. So when you catch yourself, doing those kinds of things, think about your embedded theology. In Paul John's book, he talks about a man who was looking for sunken treasure, or for water, I guess it was, and he dug holes in all over 9 inches deep. And he got so frustrated because he couldn't find water anywhere. But he didn't realize if he dug 12 inches, he would have found water. And that was a kind of a lesson about really sticking to one path, looking deeply into that path to see what treasure you can find there for yourself. And if you dig deeply into some of your thoughts, you can really find what is really causing that discomfort, that reaction that I have here and there. Am I not digging deeper into the truth? It all brings us to that realm of unlimited possibilities, and that's one thing I really like about unity, that we can try things on. We can talk to people about things that people maybe not on a spiritual path would look at us like we were crazy. And that brings a lot of excitement. I learn something new every day, and I'm still learning. Well, another book, William James's The Variety of Religious Experience, describes two approaches to life. One is a general exhibition of healthy mindedness. And James says, this person is convinced of the essential goodness of life and radiates enthusiasm and optimism. And then James describes also the sick soul. It's conscious of evil in the world, and while yearning for joy, finds despair and satisfaction. And so when Fillmore's were looking around all world religions, you can see that they evidently chose the positive way, the idea that we are a healthy-minded group. We see all good. We are whole and full. We are healthy individuals to begin with. And so Paul John also goes into the idea that are present in groups like the Course in Miracles, which many of us have studied. And he says that A Course in Miracles is a form of Gnosticism. And we read the Gnostic Gospels over the years, remember that? Which says that our manifest realm is not real, it's all illusion. And this is another both and continuum, I think. We can look at the world as everything's an illusion, nothing is real, or that this experience that we're having as a human being is an important aspect. And I kind of tend to be on the side of liking the aspect that unity honors body, mind, and spirit. Our body is so important as we express our divinity here in this world. And if you read some of the Fillmore writings, you know that he was really interested in regenerating body, healing our bodies. Myrtle healed herself, and so I believe that's one of the things we're here to learn. So on that spectrum of, yes, we are a physical body here, we're spiritual beings having this physical experience, to, no, it's all illusion, I'm creating my reality as I go along. And that book, Secret of Secrets, will challenge you in many aspects along that spectrum. And so I wanted to quote Paul John in closing. He encourages us to be more lighthearted, because think of how many wars and conflicts have started just over one aspect of religion. In the book, he talks about a joke of a man that was marooned on a desert island. And finally, a pilot comes across and saves him. And as they were flying above, he sees 3 houses down there. And the pilot says, well, what are those houses? And the guy says, well, the first house is my house, and the second house is my church. And the pilot says, well, what's that third house? He said, well, that's the church I go to now. And that really points out how we as human beings are so curious, so diverse, and the world religions reflect that. Paul John says, I have he says he has a picture of the laughing Jesus on his desk, and that reminds me that Jesus was not a man of sorrows, but of joy. The sense of buoyancy and joy and unity has always attracted me. We are at our best when we don't take ourselves so seriously. And then I love this quote, unity at its best is a joyous spiritual movement. We are daring to claim our good, sizzling, as Charles Fillmore said, with zeal and enthusiasm to do what is ours to do. Yes, life is problematic, suffering is real from our human perspective, and we have the power within to overcome, to be triumphant. And if you were in Reverend Liz's classes, you know she always would say, whatever we were talking about, but we have the unity principles behind us. We have the tools to live a joyous life. That really reminded me that, yes, we have the tools to live the truth we know. As we practice these principles, we live in the truth we know. So you can see why unity's been a lifelong path for me once I discovered it. And I encounter something every day that challenges me. And you've heard that expression that ministers, and unity especially, is not meant to be just a feel-good. It's here to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable, as they say. The principles are meant to challenge us and to dig deep into our souls, to let all of those negative aspects come to the surface and get boiled out like a refiner's fire. And so I'm still learning, I'm still growing every day, and keeping that curious mind active. And so I hope you'll join us on this journey as we discover who and what we want to be in the next few years. Thank you.
Please stand. These are the hands, this is the voice to celebrate the goodness of God. I lift up my hands, I lift up my voice to celebrate the goodness of God. So as we wait, our hearts wide open, Jesus we pray, that we may walk in the fullness, the wonder of your grace. These are the hands, this is the voice to celebrate the goodness of God. I lift up my hands, I lift up my voice to celebrate the goodness of God. We hear your voice in the silence, a whisper sweet and clear. And it is then that we discover your presence ever near. Ours are the hands, ours is the voice to celebrate the goodness of God. We lift up our hands, we lift up our voice to celebrate the goodness of God. To celebrate the goodness of God. To celebrate the goodness of God.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Thank you for the nice music. Thank you for the nice meditation and talk, Carol. It's a great reminder that meditation is ours to do whenever, wherever. We have a nice meditation chapel here down the hall. It's available to us, and before Sunday services at 9 o'clock, there is a meditation. You're welcome to join, and it's a beautiful space. We now place a blessing on our gifts and put ourselves into the law of circulation. And if you're joining us online and you've been blessed by today's message, I invite you to go to the giving page on our website, and that is unityofcolumbia.org. Your gift will help keep these services online. As we support our spiritual community, please take your offering, whether you give electronically, by check, or by cash. Please hold it in your hand, hold it in your heart as we affirm these words together. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
Thank you, Jen. And thank you, Lucy, for bringing up these gifts and ties that have been given out of abundance and joy to further the work here at Unity of Columbia. We are filled with abundance, an abundance of love, spirit, and the energy that we call cash money, and we freely give it, and we freely donate to the gumbo dinner as well. And so we're joy-filled and grateful for all of these gifts. Welcome the children in. Here we come.
Good morning. We have such a fun group today. And we've been talking about, what have we been talking about? Happiness. We've been talking about happiness. Does anybody want to share a few things that makes them feel happy?
Love makes you feel happy. Flowers make me feel happy.
Friends and love. Yeah. So we were enjoying several of those things, having a little snack party today to help us think about friends and food and fun conversation and how we get to remember that and help us feel happy whenever we need that happiness. So let's bless our children. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Okay, let's go sing.
I almost forgot it was my turn. Remember now, join us for gumbo today right after the service. Just head down the hallway and follow the delicious smells. You won't miss it. Please rise and sing with us the prayer for protection. How are you going to show up with your own unique spirit, shining your light with love and kindness? Wherever we are, God is.